right, welcome to Midday Repartee. I am Rotten Glory, joined today by my co-host Russ Leach, comic book black belt. How you doing?
Fine, thanks. Yeah, getting over last night's marathon.
Yeah, yeah, man. I don't even know. It must have been you must have been streaming on multiple channels. I don't 10 hours yesterday. I don't know how many hours you
Yeah,
spent. Maybe
I
more.
I yeah I started. I was on during the day with Indie Vault, and then I came on to with the CG UK guys at 10. Then at 12 I was 12:30 I was on with Vinny.
Yeah,
Then at 2 I was on with Niall and Billy Tucci.
nice.
And then at 5 I was on with Michael Bancroft. And the guys, Red Gaze and was it Red Devil? Oh, I'm so crap with names. And to be perfectly honest, I've kind of lost my memory a little bit from last night. But yeah, everybody was just wonderful. It was great.
Yeah, man, that was a great day. You picked up a lot of backers, made some
Mm.
great connections, man. How did the Pop XP, the Billy Tucci show go? I wasn't able to catch it.
Oh, yeah, it was great. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, yeah. That Billy Tucci was really complimentary about the book, and I got to chat with him. It's great. Just Billy Tucci's probably the same age, if not younger than me. I don't know, but you kind of look at these people as I consider Billy Tucci in the same way as I consider a lot of the people that inspired me early on, even though he's probably a similar age to me. So
Yeah.
he's kind of like this guy in the industry that you kind of look to and think, wow, this guy really knows what he's talking about. I mean, I've been and done a few things, but this guy has been deep in comics for a long time, and it was it was it was uh, it was great to sort of get that kind of respect
Yeah.
from him.
Yeah, I
It
bet.
means a lot. To just be interacting with him on a level playing field,
Nice.
and yeah, it was great. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Gargoyle, how you doing?
Yo, what
Anybody?
up? Just
Hey,
me.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Keeping
Hi,
out the
Gago.
background noise. Anyway, something came in the mail today.
Oh,
You want
yeah?
to see?
I
These
do.
nuts.
Let's
Anyway,
see.
shout out to Wyatt Holiday, Mandy Summers, Peter Gilmore. Rock yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
And then, of course, her set, Wart the Wizard.
Look at
Oh,
that.
cool.
Any
Right
cover
on.
Cover looks
cover?
familiar. It looks
Very
familiar,
nice.
right?
Beautiful set. Thank you,
Who did that cover?
Mandy Summers, Wyatt, and Peter for this lovely
I
set.
thought
Definitely.
Is
thought
that
I
you?
heard.
Is that you,
I-
Sim?
Yeah, I thought I heard
Yeah,
his
that was
dulcet
my cover.
tones.
That was the fan art I did. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. How you doing, Sim?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Good. It was cool. I finally managed to join your Discord and did a little bit of watch along with you guys last night on Blade.
Yeah, that was freaking cool. And
It's
congrats,
fun,
Russ.
man. I like that.
Yeah, but that's what we do on Discord. Like we it's Ace had the idea of technically bringing to a stream what we do on Discord. We
Yeah.
just hang out, watch a movie or watch series and work, right? So we're like, let's bring it to a stream, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, I like it. I like it. I'm still getting. I'm not used to Discord, but it's pretty straightforward.
It's like having a mini website where everybody could find. Like, I got into building it when, remember when YouTube were being really, really fucking bad, and then we couldn't send links to Twitter. People had
Yes.
problems with sending their hangout links and this and
Yeah.
that, and I'm like, dude, I'm going Discord, building Discord, and I started talking to everybody, build Discord, so we can all interconnect, so we technically build our own little webs connection, you could say.
Yeah, it seems really powerful in terms of connecting with people and probably brainstorming, coming up with strategy, just hanging out and
Yeah.
working. It's a cool tool. I like it. Um, Lucious says, Russ, congrats on getting 100% funded.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah. Um, very cool, man. I'm so glad you got funded, and I think that your second 30 days is just gonna get some serious legs, man.
I hope so. But I've got lots of great things to give away as long as
Nice,
I can reach the targets. So
nice, nice, nice. Did you guys? There was this thing about Keanu Reeves' book, Berserker, getting getting delayed. in comic shops. Did you guys hear about this?
Yeah, I heard.
It's
Yeah.
delayed in comic shop now.
Yeah, 4
I'm
months
not
or
laughing
something.
about that. I'm just laughing at that illustration of
I know.
Keanu Reeves' character. On the
Yeah, it's pretty
I'm
sad.
so sad.
Like, this is the best image you could work with. They don't really have, I mean, there's almost no artwork on the campaign page. It's really minimalistic, and I know that's, in large part probably due to the change in artists.
But isn't that an image you can get anywhere right now of Keanu Reeves just sitting on a park bench?
Yeah, right.
This is the best they can give out for what, a whole community that's given them almost $500,000, and they come out with a drawing of him sitting on a fucking bench.
Yeah, that's the best
classic,
picture they
man.
could come up. But he's depressed that he's getting delayed. But do we understand that they're probably getting a lot of shit for releasing the book before the backers would get them?
Yeah.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. What really cracks me up about this article is I don't think these comic journalists or people in general understand crowdfunding at all.
But dude, they made so many changes and adjustment and all this that to me it just confirms that how the shadiness that it looks. It just makes it confirmed. Dude, they changed everything. They changed from charging the shipping right away to not charging it right away. It was all delivered in one shot to the backers, to changing it in the description to, oh, now we're gonna try and deliver it to you independently, like each issue, but you're gonna have to pay shipping for each of them. And you're like,
Right.
dude,
Here's
you
a whole
keep changing
spreadsheet for us to
everything.
explain
It's
it.
so fucking shady.
I know. We did probably, I think we did a couple streams on it. We kind of delved into a lot of the kind of concerns we had about the campaign, but does this make any sense to you guys? Boom gives Kickstarter backers authentic comic shop experience by delaying Berserker by 4 months.
That's a comedy title, surely.
What?
Surely.
What?
No.
I guess if
It's-
you're referring to a Kevin Smith book or I guess the most recent Frank Miller book.
First of all, do they not understand that the backers on Kickstarter are not getting anything until late next year? I mean, they do get that right. It's not being delayed for backers in any way, shape, or form. They don't understand how any of this works, do they?
No.
Like, they just don't get it. But yeah, it's straight up comedy.
Did they only delay it in shop, or did they delay the date, like added an extra 4 months to the date of delivery on the campaign?
No, this will be the floppy issues that go to comic shops. They were always going to go to the shops well in advance. They've delayed the comic shop releases by 4 months, but I don't think the Kickstarter backer release has been delayed at all.
No, because that title leads you to that title leads you to believe that it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they don't understand any of this. They don't get how it works. They're not embracing the power in the future that
they're just trying
crowdfunding represents at all.
They were just trying to phrase it in a way that will look bad, but came out saying the opposite of what it says in there.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't possibly buy anything without a vowel in it anyway.
It is kind of weird, right?
Well, they're trying to use the whole manipulation the video games are doing, We're charging you $70. The games are going to be better. It's going to be better. We're already paying $70 a game. They're not better.
They could have just done like the other guys, leave the vowels in and just go like Berserker Infinity, Berserker Extreme, and you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
But
not.
damn,
I won't be buying it because it just doesn't inspire. I like Keanu Reeves. I like pretty much everything he does. I would have thought, yeah, this sounds really good. And I don't really give a shit they got it on Kickstarter, but it does. You're right. It is shady. Okay,
Yeah.
all the crap that they're pulling. But it just doesn't fill me with any inspiration. It's just not something I want to buy.
I mean, when I heard that Kenny was doing like a, supposedly co-created and, writing and having somebody with him, and I'm like, okay, I'm interested, right?
Yeah.
I'm curious. And then The pitch is Eternal Warrior. Right. Okay. That's what it is. That's
Yeah.
Eternal Warrior. That's the entire plot of Eternal
Yeah.
Warrior from Valiant is a guy that's
Right.
immortal ends up fighting for the Romans, the army, and the then and the this.
So Highlander.
Yeah.
It's been done. It's been done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's 1.2 million, obviously, stellar performance as far as that goes. But I'm curious how many refunds they're going to get before they get this out to people. I think it's going to get ugly for them. But we'll see.
Yeah.
It really does. It has very little to do with Keanu. Honestly, I'm sure his involvement on any inner workings of this is pretty much nil, I would guess. But Boom is making a lot of blunders, and these companies don't understand crowdfunding, or they don't want to accept that it's really the future of things. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Hopefully people will get a book.
Yeah, I'm sure people will get their book. I think Boom will deliver the product as promised, but it's going to be a bumpy ride.
Yeah, I'm just saying that you're talking with a big head Keanu Reeves, right? And we all know Keanu Reeves is a good guy, right? And like in his personal life, like the way he is, right? So my end is just with all the shadiness happening. Last thing you need is them going with a legal issue and going, okay, I'm out, and
Right.
nobody gets a fucking book. That's what I meant, dude. When it's that shady, dude. People lose faith in that shit. Come on.
Yeah, for sure.
It might happen. The only
Yeah, I
thing
don't know.
I can see that happening is Keanu Reeves has a falling out, or he sues Boom themselves, and it'd be a high profile case.
Oh,
Yep.
damn. Yeah, like you guys are hurting my saintly reputation.
Yep.
That would be hilarious. I'm sorry, but that would be
Because-
hilarious.
Yeah, remember what happened to Bethesda a couple years ago with Fallout 76?
Oh my.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't hurt them too much
they
since they
charged,
just sold everything to Microsoft for what, like 7-something billion?
Yeah, that's because they fucked themselves with Fallout 76. They had this huge package. They advertised this bag that was made a certain way, and then when it came out, the bag was
not.
made different.
Yep.
Oh, it was, dude, they made the Fallout 76 thing is just Shakespearean tragedy, man. Every step of the way. It was a nightmare for everybody. It was a lot of fun, like watching it fall apart.
And the worst part is, I was playing the game with friends. Like okay, the game was shit, but it was fun to play with your friend. If you were like four people playing, it was fun, right? But the thing is, the only thing that made the game playable among all the fucking shit in the game was the fact that there was a little hack that if you had a certain type of tool, you could have infinite storage, right? So you're like, all your game is bugged up, but at least I got this. Makes it playable, makes it fun, right?
Right.
And the first fucking bug they fixed was that one.
The infinite storage. Yeah.
They didn't fix nothing. Everything got worse, but they fixed that one. And I'm like, oh, fuck off. I'm like, that should have been the last one.
Yeah, dude, inventory storage on a game like that can be so annoying and time consuming, man. Just shit. Yeah, it's kind of like this. Yeah. Hopefully that's not.
Just appeared there.
Hopefully that's not Boom Studios. We'll see what happens. So the topic of the day, this is one I got to tell you, I'm going to be taking notes on this one because we're going to be delving into building strong creative habits. And man, when I was a young buck, I wrote and wrote and wrote. I was always producing all the time, nonstop. Now that I'm getting back into creating, producing work again, I've found that I have a lot of really bad habits, and it's difficult to get back in the swing and form those good habits. So I'd love to hear from someone like Sim, Russ. You guys are obviously highly productive creators. I'd love to hear your thoughts on on what your habits are? Do you have set daily routines?
We're insane and we drive everybody around us crazy.
Mm.
If that makes is that the same for you, Russ?
Yeah, it's close. Yeah. Yeah. My wife just like shuts the door and leaves me in here. The rot
Pretty much.
bounce off the walls.
Yeah. So is there I mean, do you have like the one major piece of advice that you would give somebody to to be more productive?
To be more productive. Well, there's lots of little things that go together. I think you should be able to get up and walk away from the board. You should be. You need to give your mind space.
Yes.
You need to exercise.
Mhm.
You do because you need to. In order to get your mind to work properly, your body needs to be working properly as well.
That's really I was definitely going to bring that up. I didn't expect it to come up so early in this discussion. I'm
And,
glad you did that because
and
man, it's I am not doing that myself, and I know it has a major impact on my
Yeah.
energy levels,
Yep.
my creativity for sure.
it's one of
Yeah.
the reason why people notice it goes, dude, what does music play in your inspiration? I'm like, it plays in my stimulation. You need to find also like a way to stimulate yourself.
Yeah.
Like if it's not if
Oh,
I'm not
tell us
listening
more.
to music, if I'm not listening to music, I'm watching like movies or anime, like stuff that moves with a lot of camera play. It's like I like to watch those AMVs with anime, right? Because movement, stuff like that, like or those musical video with movies like Boyka, where you see all those big fights, MMA fights, where you see the move, the muscle tones, stuff like that. It's like keeping like an updated bank file in your mind.
Mm.
So that's why I don't need reference when I draw.
It's
Like I can,
observation.
yeah.
Observation is key. And
And it's like
keeping
training,
stimulated. Yeah.
and it's a bit like training. Like every day, like I wake up, my morning coffee, sit down at the table. And it's technically a routine, but you need to be spontaneous about it, because if it becomes all a routine, you lose the inspiration, right? It becomes like it shows in your art. And to,
Okay.
to kind of keep that spontaneous, right? That's why I always have like four things I'm working on at the same time, you could say. Like I always have like the project that's on the table plus the ones that are upcoming in a way. So I have like a print, a fan art, a next book. Sometimes I have it to dabble on it, because like Russ said, like sometimes you need to take a step back and step away from the table, right? And when you're just working on a project, on one project, then you take a step back, you come back. But when I'm doing this, instead of doing that, I'm just going on another project. So it just changes the entire thing in my mind.
Change is as good as the
Yeah.
rest.
That's a really
Exactly.
good piece of advice.
And
I think
sometimes you get stuck on something, and it's the
Yeah.
expression that we're saying is like, I can't fucking hit it. Like for some kind of reason, you can't hit. And like I drew that hand 25 times before. I just can't freaking hit it right now. Or the hair. You're like, ah. Instead of frustrating and going on it, I'm like, you know what? Let's take a step back. So I go to like, oh, let's go work on something else for a few minutes. I hit that one up,
Yep.
and then I go back to it, and I'm like, I hit it like a motherfucker in one shot, and I'm like, yeah.
Nice.
Productivity is to keep the flow going. It's like saying like, you're not feeling right to cut that freaking piece of board. Well, go put some nails, and maybe that's what you're good in right now. Type of it, just to give a comparison, right? So you're getting flustered on one piece, you're not seeing straight. So move to just go to another one. Sometimes just for 5 seconds, dude. Then you come
Yeah.
back, you see clearly. Like it's same thing with a background. Sometimes you'll have you're working on the scene. You're trying to line up your background. Like you're like, nah. And the more you're gonna try and hard, you're not gonna get it. Go back, come back, take a fresh look at it, and then you see it. You're like, oh.
Nice, man. That's really cool. I think right now that
Play
is
with
one
you-
of
play
the
with it.
problems I'm having is I'm hyper focused on one thing. I'm having some things I just can't quite work through and put together. If I had that other project or other outlet that I could just jump to clear my head, I think that would be a huge help.
It's like like you say, like you remember when we make joke of palate cleanser? That's what it is.
Yeah,
It's like doing the
palate
same thing.
cleanser.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
Speaking to the physical exercise, I mean, do you guys, do you have like, do you take X amount of time every day, or at least certain days of the week where
Yeah,
like this is where I'm going to get my physical exercise, or you just try to fit it in wherever?
I was
seems pretty
before the lockdown. I was doing 2 sessions of karate a week, going walking. And then when the lockdown came, I was only doing the 1 session, but I was doing a 15-minute workout every day for 5 days a week, and
Nice.
walking as well. So it's just what you got to do is you've got to try and build it into your day so that it doesn't take too much time out of your day. It doesn't have to be a lot, just to get you
Right.
moving, get you working, and then you add that into what Sim is saying as well, being able to walk away from something, or focus your attention in different places, and it means that you've got this flow and you've got this healthy sort of balance.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Is there a point where like working too many hours, like working on your stuff too many hours a day actually becomes counterproductive?
It is for me. I'm getting old.
I know that doesn't apply to Sim. Like if he's
No,
awake,
it's just,
if he's
he's
awake,
working,
he's drawing.
isn't he?
Like it's doesn't.
I don't know. My wife set me up where I'm going to be in slavery anyway, or in jail.
Me,
Oh, yeah.
me, I'll be honest and frank. Let's be honest here. I've been working a lot, and lately, like I've been neglecting my my training, you could say, because I used to do some stretches, still do squats. I had a chin up bar. I have weights, right? But since the quarantine and all this, I've been very fucking like neglectful in that part.
Right.
But I do have 6 people in the goddamn house at all time.
Right.
Yeah,
that's tough.
That's tough.
Well,
So,
that brings up
But working a lot, you do need to try and balance and not keep, because the thing is, it gets very type of like obsessive in a way, right?
Sure.
It's like you become a workaholic. That's what we are. Technically, that's what we are, because
Yeah.
we relax, we chill, we want to do anything. We're watching a goddamn movie and we're still doodling. So we're technically workaholics, right? But
Right.
one of the things I like to keep in mind is, never forget, at least once keep in your mind always, at least one moment where you go spend some time with your girlfriend, spend some time with your family, because that's the people, that's the things you neglect when you're getting very narrow-minded into just working. You get into those training, that 10,000 hours, you want to work. Nothing's wrong with crunching. But sometimes I have to stop, and sometimes my bro comes, "Hey, dude, you haven't spent time with the kids that much in the last week or 2. I'm like, okay, so
Yeah.
it's movie time.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think that's there's always, if you're a creator, especially something like comics, there's the hundreds of hours a comic artist has to put in to produce a single book. It's insane, and you can always use the excuse like, I just need to get this done. There's always going to be that thing.
Yep.
There's always going to be that next page you got to do, that next panel, that extra gig you got that you need to do. You can use that as an excuse indefinitely.
And
But if you don't take that time, that personal time, for whether it's exercise, whether it's just enjoying something else, or especially the people in your lives, it will become destructive, and your creativity will hurt because of it.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to get to. That's another thing I'd like to add. It's the fact that you need to take a day off. Like, you can do crunches, right? But a day off doesn't mean not touching your pen, but it means taking a day off, meaning get that stress off that you have to work, type of thing. If it's not at least once a week, like, you can skip one, right? But I'm just saying, like, it's important to take that break. It really is.
Yeah, I do a Saturday, so I don't do anything on a Saturday. I stay away from it completely, unless there's an emergency. But
Right.
other than that, when I say emergency, there's never an emergency in comic books. But obviously freelance work and all the rest of it. But other than that, I take Saturday off, and
Nice.
The rest of the week.
How long is this something you've been doing for a long time, or is this?
Yeah, because my wife was working on a Sunday, so I work Sundays.
Right.
So I just take Saturday off, and that's the day. Stay away from everything else, and then the rest of the week is, I work from home like most of us, so I get to see everybody quite a lot.
Yeah.
And I'll work into the evening, so I'll have some dinner and then I'll work afterwards. But then, if you get to go out twice a week to go karate, or training or whatever it is, you're not working at those moments. I think that's the best time to really release, because when I go training, it's very zen. You're in the moment. You're thinking about technique. You're thinking about power. You're thinking about your fitness. You're never thinking about anything else. It completely removes you from your life. You're just focusing on the training.
When I was younger, I would have, like at the top of the list for creating good habits creatively, I would have put other things well above. But I'm starting to think that having that physicality, doing the physical exercise, taking 15 to 30 minutes, and that's just your time to just fully be in that moment, to get your heart rate up, to get the physicality going. I think that might be number one. If you're not doing that, it will ultimately, it's going to kill you, first of all, and it will ultimately, your work will suffer,
It's just what Sim was saying, is that by having this balance and by being able to, either move to something else or move away from it or take those moments, it means that you refresh your creativity. If you're just doing the same thing and you keep going and keep going and keep going, then eventually you run out of steam. And your creativity runs out of steam. It's not just physically.
You have to keep yourself inspired.
Yeah.
And another thing I'd like to add up to it is one of the things that Jack Kirby brought up in many interviews, right? And I'm sure Ross will agree with me on this. We get so much work into our work that there's certain things that becomes like we have to rely on others, meaning like Kirby couldn't draw at a certain point because he would be driving and he would still be thinking about composition, story, and this. And I'm the same. Like, I'm walking in the street, right, and people are like, you look like you have like the poker face, like the resting bitch face. You're just walking, you're like you're gonna kill somebody, like you look like you're gonna kill someone, and all I have though is I'm walking and I'm thinking about story, everything I am, dude. I'm going to to the pharmacy to buy something. I'm thinking about story, this. It's always in my goddamn head, and it's pretty much all we talk about. Yeah, it's always in there. You're watching a goddamn movie, and you're analyzing how they're telling the story. So people watching the movie, which you want to kill the fuck out of you, because you're like, I wouldn't do this like that. And
my wife will catch me occasionally because I people watch as well, because of anatomy and motion. So I'll be sitting there and she'll say, "What are you looking at?" So I was looking at your nose and your lips and seeing the way that they work together. And, and it's like, it's not a romantic thing. I'm just literally looking at the way you're built, so you do this. You're constantly things are constantly
studying
moving
movement when somebody's walking, when you're walking out. Like, dude, one of the funniest thing was, like, we have the best excuse to, what you looking at? I'm looking at her. Why? I'm studying how she's moving for a drawing.
Yeah,
we have the best fucking excuse. It's a study.
Right. Got it. That, you just gave me the inspiration I needed to really sit down and start drawing every day. Like,
right?
That's awesome. I hadn't thought about that.
It's a free stare card.
To some wives. Other wives are just still dumb bitches.
Woo! So I think you touched on this a little, Sim, but like you were saying, maybe mix it up a little, not just have a completely rigid routine, because it can kind of maybe I don't know, get a little static or sterile after a while. Do all of you kind of feel that way? What do you think about that, Russ? Do you have like a set, these are my hours that I'm going to do this, or do you kind of shift around from day to day?
Yeah, I kind of am like that. I kind of drive myself to do a certain amount of time to do certain things. I try to stay within a loose routine, but yeah, you do have to change things up. You don't want to get too stale.
Right.
So it's like there are things I need to do during the day. I know I need to do them, but I don't have to do them at the same time every day. So you don't get too anal about it. But there are certain targets I need to hit, and I hit them, and that's the end of it. And so I come at it a bit workmanlike from that perspective.
Yeah.
And maybe that makes me not quite as creative. I don't know, but it's the way that I make it happen. So
Yeah. I mean, I think there's certainly with all of these things, it's certainly, it's got to be individualized. There are
that's what I was
things that
gonna
might
say.
work for one person and not another.
Nobody's
exactly.
nobody's the same. So some people
No.
are more technical. Some people are more like
Yeah.
inspirational. I don't know. I'm trying to look for that.
Experimental.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's that as well. Yeah. I'm probably not very experimental, to be honest.
Me is I've realized that if you try to control stuff too much, usually you ruin it, right? Like
Sure.
it's with anything. If you put too much control, it's the same thing in your relationship. You try to be too controlling on somebody, you just ruin it. It's anything, right? It's same thing with art. If you try to lock it up in one box, you can do something. You can be productive, but it's like saying you're not riding that wave, though. You know what I mean? When that wave
Yeah.
shows up, that's the thing
Oh,
that we
right.
can never forget is like we can always be productive. There's some moments where we're not. Like I'm sure Ross will agree with me on that too. There's a day that sometimes you just like, why can't I just fucking draw today? I don't know. Like, for a few hours you're like, I can't fucking draw today.
yeah.
Where the
There are
shit are-
mornings like that where you just go, "This is not happening."
Yeah.
I try and force my way through it, but it's
Mm-hmm.
as a professional illustrator or as a freelance designer, you know what this is like. Or you all know what this is like. Sometimes you just got to put your shit in. You just got to get it done,
Right.
And it's not
Yeah.
always the best page. It's not always your best work, but it's done and it's paid for. So that's
And
the
that's
difference.
the technical way of like doing illustration, right? You know what you have to do and you're gonna apply it. But what we're talking is that inspiration moment, though. When you want to get that, you want to get that moment where you're in that zone and you're getting those flow and those this, and you're like, you want that wave, and it's like one of the things that when you're having a day job and you're having like, or you're in school, right? You're like, okay, I have to go to bed, but you're in that moment, you just freaking hit that wave, right? Dude, there's moments where like I'm tired and I'm okay, I'm gonna go to bed. And then for some kind of reason, I just hit that wave, and I'm like, oh, I look at that, okay, and then I'm gone for another 6 hours. Oops, it's 10 in the morning.
So
I can't do that anymore.
I really like that you hit on like finding this zone thing, and it's this is something that it happens for athletes, it happens for artists. What I remember playing, I was not a very good football player. I wasn't a great football player, but there was one game where I experienced it. I didn't really know what people were talking about, but I dropped into a zone, and it's like I don't even have much memory of what happened during that time, but it was like the best I'd ever played in my life, and it just I don't even know what triggered it. Do you guys have any advice on like, are there ways to try and get to that place, or is it could just happen at any time?
Practice.
Sometimes I think it's if you analyze what happens around the moment, it's like sometimes it's a song, sometimes it's a certain feeling, like when you're watching that movie and you see that fucking brohood type of thing happen, and you get that fucking chug down that throat, and you're like, yeah, right?
Right.
You know that there's certain elements that trigger certain effects, right? So I know that sometimes when I'm watching an anime with a fucking good actions fight, or I'm watching like Boyka beating the shit out of a giant motherfucker that's like 7 feet tall, right? It inspires me. Like when I was watching, I know that type of thing always made me go like, oh yeah, fuck yes, right?
Okay.
And
so for you, it feels like like you like having some kind, you love the stimulation, whether it's music, something you're watching. It seems
Inspiration
like
comes
that
from
really drives you.
all inspiration comes from a stimuli. If you think about it, if it's not a moment in the day, if it's not a memory for somebody, if it's not a moment of your life, or a story you read, or music, or a movie you've seen, like everything comes from anything that happens, emotion or anything came from a stimulant. That's the core of it. So, what what lights you up? What inspires you? Figure that out.
Right.
What are those things that gets you inspired, that you makes you go like, okay, dude, I'm ready to fucking take the world now. Let's do this.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. What about you, Russ? Do you find yourself dropping into these zones?
Yeah, I think it's kind of lucid in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish that, El Gago was saying, practice, and he's right. It's
Right.
all about the repetition. I
Hmm.
don't know that I
Okay.
can
Okay.
necessarily turn it on, but by being at the desk and getting myself involved and being in that zone, as it were,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
it can come about. Yeah, you can
You know,
kind of
how about
Okay.
get it to happen.
how about we say it that way? The illustrator part is a technique, right? And that can
Mm,
be turned on the man, being an illustrator,
yeah,
right? But the artist, the creative artist part,
yeah.
that's the one there's no automatic switch to it.
No, that's the zone. That's the one
Yeah,
where it
that's
comes in and out. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I think, I'm going to stick with this analogy in terms of being an athlete, but it's like, and this goes to what Gargoyle was saying about practice. It's, you have to do something, get to the point where it's just pure instinct,
Oh,
where it's just in you. You know what to
yeah,
do. So when the moment strikes, when that thing hits, it's almost like your brain just kind of goes
well,
quiet, and your instincts, what you
It,
know to do, what you've trained yourself to do, just
it's
takes
like
over. It
it's
just
like
takes
that with
over.
martial arts. It's like that with martial arts. You train
Yeah.
and train and train and train and train. You don't walk down like when we
and
do
then it's
basics
reflective. Yeah,
and we do punching and blocking. You don't walk down the street doing that. If
no,
somebody came up to you in a bar and said, "Are you looking at my pint?" and started a
Right.
fight, you wouldn't like go down into.
yeah, and you don't
you
actually
know,
fight you don't really fight using a kata,
No,
no, neither.
no, exactly. But the things that you've done,
Yeah,
time and time and
the
time and time
conditioning.
again,
Yeah.
means that your body will go to a position that will work. And
Yeah,
I suppose it's exactly the same for drawing, exactly the same for creating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, you
Yeah.
get
and
yourself in that zone, and because
yeah,
you've done it again and again and again and again, you can
and I
get yourself into that zone that much easier.
and I think one of the best way to describe the feel of that zone, it's that song that you like a lot, like that rock or metal song that you really fucking like, right? You'll listen to it, but there's moments where you're so goddamn into it that you're like shaking your freaking head and you're like, yeah, yeah, and you're in the band. That's pretty
Yeah.
much it. That's the feeling you get when you're. That's what the
Yeah.
zone feels like. It's like for the moment you're like you hit that song, you're like, yeah, and your head banging, you're in it, like if you're there, yeah,
Yeah,
Very
and you're
cool.
playing your hair, you're playing the hair guitar, you're like, yeah,
Joe's
yeah,
got it
that's it.
right.
Hmm?
Like what Joe's saying there, I
It's
like that.
this is how often we can be in the zone correlates to how much time we're practicing good habits. Yes, the
Hmm.
more time spent on good habits, the more often we get in the zone, and the longer we can stay in it. It hadn't really occurred to me coming into this topic, this show, but this getting in the zone thing, I think it's so crucial, and it really, I think it frames just how important it is to put in those hours, to get to practice, 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 because if you don't get to a place, if you're trying to draw something and you have to stop your creativity or creative flow because you have to think about, well, how do I do this perspective, or how do I do
Yeah.
this particular thing, it's going to pop you out of that zone. But
Yeah.
Oh,
if you just know it, you practiced it so many times,
Yeah.
that zone is going to be able to just come into place, and it's going to happen, and it's going to flow, and I
and
think this is really essential to this.
and R&D,
Yeah.
research and development, all the
Right.
fucking time. R&D is fucking good. Like, never forget that, research. Just fucking start researching it. You'll never know what you'll find and why might inspire you in something
Mm.
different. like
Yeah.
inspire, like look into artists. That's why I'm trying to do all that Midday World thing, showing in European artists going into all type of stuff like that, because I think that you never know what you're gonna find out. Like you're gonna fall and discover like you're somebody that you're like, where have you been all my life?
I'm right here, guys. I'm right here.
Vinny.
Hi,
Vinny.
Hey,
Good timing, man. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. Yeah, I just came in a few minutes ago and I saw that you were going live or you've been live, so let me jump on.
Very nice. Yeah, we're talking about creating strong habits in terms of creative output, producing. I'm sure you have some thoughts on that.
Yeah, man. I produce a lot.
Yeah, you are one of the most productive creators in CG for sure.
Yeah, man. I try to be, and that's the thing, man. It's getting the work done is key. You got to have a clear mind. That's first and foremost. That's why I stay out of everyone's back channel bullshit, because I don't have headspace for all those games and bullshit that everybody likes to play. Can't stand it. Never liked it. Always hated it. It's a waste of time. Colossal waste of time. If you want to stay creative, you got to keep your fucking self happy, positive. And it's tough, especially now with COVID and all this other nonsense we've been dealing with. Everyone's trapped inside. But most artists, I mean, this is kind of our life anyway. Like we're in front of the drawing table of the computers. We're working our asses off. But you got to try to exercise, keep healthy and fit, because that's going to help your mind as well right off the bat.
Yeah, that was we hit on it really early in the discussion, and like we've kind of it's really at the top, toward the top of the list, as we were talking about, like just how important it is to get that physical exercise in,
how important it is, and how it's been one of the main things that's been neglected with the entire COVID thing, because everybody's locked down,
and I think it's always been an issue for comic book creators in general. It's that kind of chain yourself to the drawing table mentality. It can be really destructive,
Yeah, that's for sure, man. Yes, other areas of your life are going to be affected by work. I mean, I don't care if you're an artist or if you're laying bricks. You need to find a balance. It's that simple, man. And try to keep yourself motivated and inspired. If there's artists and movies and games and stuff that you enjoy, take a little bit of time, do that.
Remember what got you into it in the first place. What inspired you to be what you are. What inspired you in the first place to become an artist, to do comics. So when you have a bump, that's why I keep saying I went back to watching anime. I go back to watching movies. I just go like all out in what I used to watch, and go back to what inspired me in the first place. And
of course, man. It's when I was working with Todd McFarlane. That's one of the things that I learned from him. He always kept that childlike sensibility when it came to creating, when it came to what he's doing. Because like when we were working on figures and stuff, it's like the first thing is like, would a kid like this? We try to break it down. Is this something that's fun for them? Because if it's not, if it's too static, too boring, that's why he was always against like doing any characters in just like in a business suit. Even though everyone loved like the villains, like he had that Jason. What's his name?
Jason Wynn.
Was that his name? The villain in the Spawn books.
Jason Wynn.
Jason Wynn.
Jason Wynn. Yeah, that's it. Thanks, Elgardo. Like he was kind of against that for a long time, so he did like an exclusive form because he didn't think kids would buy that in a store. And to a degree, he's right. He's right with a lot of things, but you got to keep that childlike sensibility in your work of, at least your teenage self. Try to make your teenage self happy with certain things, but use your adult mind to make sure that you're going to tell a proper story. Things are cohesive, that, they can't be too much of a mess. They can't be too much all over the place. Get structure. Action things are cool. Certain things are cool, but find the place for them. That's key. And when you start getting into your groove, you're gonna keep moving quickly, and better stuff's gonna come out.
And another thing that I like to do is, and I give as advice for writers and artists, right? It's every time I have a project, research and dev, right? You start researching on the subject you're working on, right? But a thing that I love to do, and if you go on my YouTube, you'll find them. I have playlists for every project that I work, I have a soundtrack for
Mhm.
all
Nice.
of them. Like
Nice.
if I'm working on, like right now, like I was working on a project, right? Let's say Rod, you come to me for a story, right? And you go, I have this, so I'm gonna start and research themes, right? And then I'm like, okay, so I'll go on YouTube and go research those themes with music and
Yeah.
find what inspires me in there, what I like, and then build a playlist around what the entire vibe of the book is supposed to be, and that's what I listen to when I work on it.
Nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I think Samir mentioned this. He really likes just kind of pure soundtracks without the vocals, without the word.
Mhm.
As a writer,
Scores,
in
yeah.
my youth, I was just like Sim. I wanted music. I didn't work without music constantly. As I got older, I found that having lyrics, having those words like constantly being pumped into my head, it really started getting in the way. So I have transitioned to music
And
without lyrics, and you just got to find what
Yeah.
works for you.
another
Well, you
thing
know, they,
another thing I discovered with the CG thing,
Mhm.
when you're working in the industry, right? You get to do working in team, but you're all divided, right? It's not the same thing as what I'm about to say. It's one of the things that I've discovered that's been happening with CG with some creators. It's sometimes we do a hangout, like either in the hangout or a Discord, and it's just four artists, and we're just working on stuff and exchanging advice. Going, hey, what do you think
yeah.
about this? Oh, I'd do it like that. Oh, what about look at this, guys? Or, oh, I look. This is how I do this. Oh, and dude, we leveled up so much just by going like, hey, look at this. This is how I do this and this and this. Oh, I would do that. Maybe if you did this. And that's,
Right.
dude, the
Yeah.
interaction at this level is like, it's not just the interaction between creator, right, and the fans. That's amazing. The fact that right now there's an interaction that's immediate, right? To what you do, to what, how you interact with them. It's like a live convention 24/7.
Yeah,
But there's the same thing between us creators. We have access to each other. We
that's
get
a really
we
good
get
point.
we get
Yeah.
to be friends. We get to
Right.
meet up in a place and get to work like if it's like a virtual studio.
But
Yeah,
it also it depends on the creators as well. Because sometimes I'm cool like that. Other times I need to be alone to focus on what I'm
Yeah, yeah,
working.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Me too. That's what I'm
That's why.
saying. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's why I really enjoy like what Scotsman does on the Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's a good place for it. That way everybody kind of learns. It's not just the other artists and stuff.
what you've got is a virtual bullpen.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
like I was mentioning it last night, that was what I wanted to do when I was younger. I wanted to be in the bullpen. I wanted to be with Uncle Stan. I wanted to be there with all the other artists. And I found over time that thing didn't exist anymore. That those publishers weren't really there. That was not a world.
Yeah.
But this world does exist.
Yeah.
And it's here in the
Yeah.
indie world now.
Yeah.
And because of the technologies we have, we're all kind of we're all bumping off each other. It's
That's
brilliant.
so cool, man.
And
Yeah.
it's what me, Beacon, and Scottman and a few others do on the Discord. There, we just freaking watch it. Like we stream a movie and we just freaking draw on our screen.
Yeah. So we found out. I found the bullpen, but I didn't find it at Marvel. I didn't find it at DC.
Right.
I found
Fine
it
in
here.
CG.
Yeah, because when I had one of my first interviews with at Marvel, I saw how different it was from having talked to some of like the older guys who actually were in the bullpen and all that. Yeah, it was like night and day. You could see how it got poisoned, and I saw this around 2002, right around there. That's when I really saw how it was personally myself. Like you could get vibes of it through some of the books, but you could really see how poisoned it was getting. So yeah, the best way of doing that, is kind of what we've been doing. And I think the streams, I chalk the streams up for that. Because we get to not only just talk about each other's projects and stuff, but it's also, kind of what's going on in the art community. Other topics that we have, fucking around, just, having a good time, but we're doing it with the fans, which I think is even more important because it's like the bullpen mixed with the letters column all at the same time.
and the fans, they get to meet the real us. Like, it got me thinking. It's like I was having a conversation not too long ago with Vinny, and remember when we were talking about my meeting with Mobius? that I never knew who he was till he was gone.
Yeah.
But you made a good point when you said, yeah, but you got to meet the real you, not the fan geek, not not the fan, the geeking out
Exactly.
fan. You
Yeah.
got to meet Mobius, the real Mobius, not the the guy sitting at the table. You just hang around at the freaking thing. You came to talk to me, and that's what we get as well.
Oh, for sure, man, for sure.
Like the fans, when they get to see us, the fact that creators all, not everybody's friends. Let's not lie, but the fact that we all have like a friendly, some of us are friends, and when we're on stream, it shows that we know each other, that we interact out of the goddamn thing, not just like we got to meet here once a year.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's about being genuine.
Yeah.
Let's face it. If you're just smiling, jiggling, and doing nothing on a fucking on a stream, that's not being genuine. Being genuine is what you've been doing, talking about everything.
Right now we have the perfect analogy. Like I used to compare it to like, we're like Kirby, and like Kirby used to, everybody could just drop by or call the House of Kirby, right? Could just drop by and go visit. So right now the perfect analogy is like, right now you have a fucking live bullpen, right? How do you call it? Yeah, bullpen. Is that how it was called?
Yeah.
And everybody's invited. Everybody has access to it.
Man.
So it's like you have a 24/7 bullpen of creators, and you have access to them, and we have access to our fans.
People take advantage of that. Most people really understand that, the boundaries, they respect those boundaries. Don't be abusive, but you have access to a lot of people who are willing to share their knowledge, work with you. It's a give and take. You got to give some, get some, be cool about it. But there's a huge resource available to all creators in CG and indie right now.
And we're international.
Each other. That's the resource. Each other.
We have Samir from Pakistan.
We do.
We have people from Japan. We have people from the entire freaking world.
Yep.
Yeah.
In the same bullpen.
Dude,
so
look,
cool.
We were having such a great time last night as well. And that's the thing, man. We were really breaking down, like, that's sort of like, these streams that you do, Rod, are amazing.
Yep.
But then when we actually do have the time to explore who a person is, and we went over an hour with Russ, really getting into the project. Liam had amazing input and great questions, but it also gave everyone great insight onto what the project is, how professional, the involvement from a few others to help guide the story a little bit here and there, or with the writing. That's cool stuff. That's things I think fans enjoy to hear. But I know you have it up there, and I saw it before too. Albino Thunderbuns is 100% correct.
Yes, I left it up because I wanted us to get into this sleep thing, which we hadn't talked about yet.
Because that is a thing that I am severely lacking, and I need to get back into a certain structure. Because some of these late nights it's been too much, man, and I need to take a step back, because I prefer, like Bristolian Dave said, I prefer going to bed a little bit earlier if I could, and getting up earlier. I feel more productive in the day as well, doing that kind of. Because doing it the way we've been doing it, it's a quick way to burn out.
Yeah, there's always a cost. Whenever you think you're doing something that might get you ahead, by burning the midnight, just burning candle at both ends, and doing that, there's always a cost. It will come back to you. In the end, it's finding that balance, that spot where you're getting the sleep you need, you're getting the physicality, you're letting you got to find that balance, or you will burn out. You will suffer.
I agree, like 100%. But me, that's what I apply to it. Is technically I see it as when you're training to go to the Olympics, right? You train, you do your thing, and then you're conditioned to do a sprint, right? So that's pretty much what we are. But we get so much work, so much project, that we forgot to take that break. Okay, usually you do that big fucking like performance, then you're like a month off. Like even in the industry, like you'll have like one of those fucking big rush, like a few months you're working like extra hours in this, but then you're like 2 months off. Right? We don't have that here. And I think it's one of the things that we need to find the balance in. Because we're grinders, right? So the grind is real. So you get grinding.
Sure. It's so easy to fall in that trap of like, I'm going to stay up till 3 or 4 in the morning every night, and so it will it will grind you down, man. And
But just 2 weeks off feels amazing between projects.
yeah,
It's stupid, but it's true. Like, you kind of need a break. Like me, when I finished like, fulfilling everything, like all the books were out for Blood Hunt, I took a 2 weeks off of just like, I was drawing anything and, just having fun. I did some fan art and stuff, and it felt
nice.
great.
I was going to do that, but then everybody
family?
wanted Through the Woods. So after I fulfilled City of Venus, I just doubled down like an idiot.
Yeah. Yeah. See, that's the thing. There's always that next thing. It's always going to be there tempting you. But
Yeah.
sometimes you just you gotta put the brakes on, man. You gotta recharge. And Smiling Bandito he's in that position where he's getting 4 hours. Some people maybe can function on that, but I think ultimately, it can
Not
come
for
and
long.
bite you on the ass. So
Yeah, you can't function on that for long. I'm just
Like
telling you
that.
right now.
Like
Yeah.
me right now, I finished like the last page of the NATverse for the first volume of NATverse, right? 2 weeks ago. I took like 2 weeks of like doing some fan art, working on some stuff for NATverse too, like the cover, some concept art writing for like 2 weeks, and now I'm getting back into a grind where I'm gonna be doing like 22 page in a month.
yeah, dude, that sounds awesome. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how you find that balance doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'm at now. Right now, it's like yesterday. It was kind of like my conditioning mode was like, okay, tomorrow, the first, I'm starting to do pages like regularly, trying to hit them up. So yesterday, so right now I'm like working on 2 pages. I'm almost done with 1.
Nice, man.
That's
Nice.
cool.
There is one other thing I wanted to drop into before we delve into Tales from the NATverse. Is the money aspect, especially, with the crowdfunding thing and the indie thing. I think it's important not to let the potential money you might make, be the driving, motivating factor in what you're doing. It's got to be about the love of what you want to produce, the story you want to tell. If you let wanting to have a successful campaign and make a lot of money be the supreme motivating factor, it can really bring you down, man.
Okay, let's be honest and clear. Do we understand that we don't make that much money off those campaigns from
Of course.
Go? Another thing I'd like to point out that some people forget a lot is like you have the writers, right? They have to pay the artists, which is out of pocket usually, or through the money they go with the campaign. So that's why sometimes those campaigns are pretty high. But please don't forget that we also have to invest in ourselves as artists. Like I'm sure they'll agree with me that when I got into this, I had to put money aside to make sure that I could technically like allowed to spend like months investing into this.
For sure.
Some of the money in there is calculated, so I can just work on this. Like I do have to take side contracts and take this and take that, some little jobs, and I'd like to be able to concentrate on this. And we all have to invest a lot of our own time and money into this.
What's going on, Gargoyle?
I'm mumbling myself like a schizo.
Well, that's what I thought it was, but I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I mean,
funny.
we it's entertainment and it's passion and it's creativity, but we all have to eat. And,
You do.
It's a balance. There is a balance
Yep.
to be made. I think if you can be passionate about a project and be honest and transparent about that project, but at the same time bring attributes to it that make it a viable product and that make it attractive in a way that can make money, because it is that interaction between you and your audience. There's nothing wrong with that. It's very honest. As long as you're honest
absolutely,
about
yeah.
it and open and transparent
Right.
and passionate, then
Yeah.
it's all good. It's all good.
I think
So-
let me rephrase
Absolutely.
what I was saying a little bit. If you want to get into producing comics right now, and your number one reason for wanting to do it is to make money,
You'll go
Don't
nuts.
bother.
I think you're gonna find that that's not gonna work out very well for you
You'll go
mentally.
nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna kill you.
You're
Yeah.
better off buying a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
That's you getting ready to press on that off on the nuclear bomb.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
You gotta have the love for it, man. It's gotta be coming from that genuine love
But dude,
of wanting to
absolutely.
produce the comic. But obviously, we all know we got to make money. There's nothing at all wrong with that, and you want to structure what you're putting out there in a way that can make the most money possible. But if that's the reason you wanted to make comics,
Yeah.
I think you're gonna find that hurts a bit.
Yeah, I've seen that across the board. Too many people, they see the giant campaigns and go, "Oh, I could do that," or you know, they've literally said it on streams, and it's like, you know, that's the wrong way of approaching it, and you're gonna fail. One or two, people are gonna see how greedy and thirsty you are, and it's also gonna look bad. What you have to do is have actual quality. You do what you have to pay the bills. I mean, I'm a freelancer, obviously, and I've you know, taken so many jobs. I've helped a lot of people in ComicsGate as well, but you know, they paid me for covers and pinups. You know, I can't work for free. Some people want to. That's fine with them too. If you know they want to get their name out there, I understand it. There's all different ways of approaching it, but at the end of the day, yeah, we're not in this for giant numbers. It's the slow build. Yep. That's what I'm seeing, and that's what I appreciate. That's what I like, and that's why I give people my all. It's the honesty, being genuine with people is number one. Then number two to me is making sure that people understand how much we're working and why we're doing this. You know, it is to continually get great storytelling out there again. It's to get kids motivated, getting anybody motivated to pick up these books, because it's all falling to shit. People are glued to their phones. People are glued to social media. You know,
and keep in mind that it's people giving you the hard-earned money.
Yes, but like I'm saying, this is storytelling again, man. People they don't with the way the world is going right now, people are less inspired, and they're becoming more like sheep and zombies. But if they continuously read novels, comics, they're looking further into stuff. They want to keep expanding their mind with things, right? And reading is the number one thing. It's going to help any person. I don't care who you are, young, old, whatever. It opens up the mind even more. So if they're reading stories, they're following these characters, this is all beneficial, right? It's all beneficial to the world and what's going on. You know, in whatever small part that we're playing, that's a good thing. Don't you want to keep doing that? Don't you want to keep seeing the world grow in a better place? Because if it's the other way, where it's all these sheep that are glued to their phones and their computers and they're just wasting time and wasting their lives, what is the point? Where is it all going?
If you can inspire one person, if you can encourage one person to pick up a dictionary and look up a word, to get them to have a wider vocabulary, to inspire them to make their own books, whatever it might be, any of those things, you have done your job. You have connected with an audience, not just from I'm telling a story, I am entertaining you, I am trying to get across certain concepts to you, but also you've literally, you know, you've touched that person. That person has then used that to do something in their life. You've done the job. You've connected. You've made that connection all the way through.
Exactly.
And there's not enough of that going on. Entertainment overall is bland. That's the trouble. It's all bland. It's not. There's nothing of passion coming through, or very little. There obviously still is stuff, but it's very little. And it's that's why we do this. I'm making books that are effectively like the books that inspired me, because I don't see them on the shelves anymore. That's why I'm doing it.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
And here's a great point too with your book, and you know, Only Death Could Save Us. You think people after reading your book, they're not going to stop and be like, you know what? I want to look into different cultures of how they view the afterlife, how they, you know, it opens up a dialogue, you know, and other stuff. That's the cool thing about it. And you can say that about almost all of our projects, the ones who are, you know, that we're really putting a lot into it and we're giving them a little bit more. That's why, the superhero stuff is cool. You could go any direction, you know, that's why to me, a lot of people are like, yeah, we need more superheroes again. Yeah, we do need them as well. I have stories where I have that, but it's okay to touch into like more real world stuff as well, because it's gonna inspire other people to look at other stuff. It's not just the tights and capes, because I know Hollywood, I know a lot of these places, they want to look at that stuff to be like, okay, right now it's hot, so we're just looking for only those IPs and that kind of stuff. And having worked in that industry, I've seen how they are. It's very destructive. It's really shitty. That's why I think most of these fucking projects in Hollywood and shit keep falling apart. They get only so far and then they collapse because they're missing substance. They're missing the thing that's going to really draw people in.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. Well,
Sure.
why did Star Wars? Why did the first Star Wars succeed? Because they certainly didn't succeed because they were trying to create a trilogy. It succeeded off its own back, and you've got to come up with new things, with passion, with a story. One of the original concepts I had for the first script I wrote before this script, along with the other creative and nostalgic and industry concerns and views that I had. One of the cores of the story is about quantum physics and the universe and how existence works. I listened to a lot of crap, okay, but I wanted to get that idea out to people. I wanted to seed that idea and say, have a think, open your eyes, widen your view.
Yep.
Nice.
And that's what these books are. All our books are about. Open your mind.
It's
That's
like I was saying on another stream, was the idea that Star Wars, like you just said, Star Wars, it wasn't a regular movie. It came out of the experimental department.
Came out of nowhere.
Yeah. That's the thing. That's where we're at. It was the same thing with the first independent movement. It was like everybody wanted cookie cut books. So you had the independent movement that went, no, we want to experiment. We want to try new shit. And it was the same. Most of the greatest movies that we ever had came from that. If it's a student program or experimental movies, that's where they came from.
Yeah.
And that's what you're getting right now. It's a whole bunch of us right now are just here, and we're having a freaking blast trying to tell you a really good story and experimenting with shit.
Yeah, I really like that what you mentioned, Russ, about they didn't go in to Star Wars. George Lucas didn't go in assuming or thinking that it would become this trilogy or this bigger thing. He was focused on producing the best possible story and film he could in that moment. Self-contained, right? And then I think that is so applicable to comic books in the sense, and I know you're doing this with your book. Yes, you have plans. You want to expand this thing out. It's going to be more than one book, but you can pick up each individual book and get something out of it. It's contained in its own right. And I think a lot of people forget that. They get so focused on that big plan, that long-term plan, that they forget that each installment has to be something that someone could just read that, experience that, and get something out of it.
But it's like to me, I see it as the jump scare in goddamn movies. Everybody like they had it's so hard to actually scare people, but it's so easy to do the jump scare. It's the same. It's the same thing with the other one. Yeah.
Lucious might be onto something here. Maybe stretch goals of projects can be a tab of acid themed to the project. Truly mind expanding. So hey, that's before you read this book, you just pop.
Sorry, I just flicked on something. Something came up in my in my web browser, and it was somebody had said something about the book. Well done for making your target. And some random guy underneath said 60 pages of story for 20 quid, like question mark. And you just think, what? So are you complaining? Are you, what have you ever made a book? Have you ever done anything? Have you ever done anything creative whatsoever?
Wow.
You'd maybe get, if Marvel did that book, you might get it for half, 3/4 of the price. So
aren't floppies $5 now?
Well, 7, some of them, and
7 times 3. 7 times 3, it's almost. I mean, it's the same price.
Yeah,
but
and you just think, what?
A lot of people are unaware, don't even have an idea of how much it costs to actually produce one book.
Mhm.
Like, just think about it. The amount per page, the lettering, the coloring, the editing. It easily goes up to between what 15 to 20K depending on the amount of page.
Yeah.
Right.
I've talked about it a number of times, especially with the hardcover book. You know, I didn't
Yep.
start seeing profit until I hit around 30K.
Yeah.
Because, like, I said it, I am going to be, biting the bullet. But I was
You
doing
knew,
it.
yeah,
for
you
fans.
knew it going in, and we all knew
Yep.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's why I love that the support came my way. It's because they saw what I was doing for them. The 5th campaign, that's like a landmark, that I did that in less than a year. So I wanted to make sure people got an experience with this thing, man. That when they got it in hands, they're going to be doing cartwheels, and about 99% of people have been. I've heard nothing but great things. So I'm very happy and proud of what I've done with that. But at the same time, this is a lot of sacrifice. Russ, my response to that guy would be, "You're damn right. It's a steal. You should jump on it fast."
No, dude, you know what you should say is you go ahead and keep feeding at that corporate trough. When you want something real, something that will really move you and make an impact, come on over to the indie side. It's a smaller audience. It's a smaller number of people buying into something, but they realize the investment they're making actually has value and they're going to get something for it.
I'm like, when we get to make the type of sales like Ethan or the mainstream, like selling like 5,000 copies of a book, then maybe we could start thinking of reducing
Of course,
because it all has to do with the the more we print, the more we sell, the less we pay per print. So the
it's
less
all
we
down
pay
to
per
scale.
print,
all down to scale.
Yes,
yeah,
it's scale, and anyone
because right now it's like
who's
just
ever
to give
worked on any
just to-
aspect of a comic knows that it's hundreds and hundreds of hours of work.
Just to give like a round like idea, it's like imagine like they pay their books 25 cents, we pay them $5.
yeah,
Right.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah. All right, guys, I really enjoyed this topic. I think we hit on some beautiful things that I think what I might do is re-listen to this. I've taken some notes. I might put together kind of a cool list of things that we hit on and put it out there. Really, really great insights into how to create good creative habits, man. I appreciate all of it.
Dude, you're awesome, man. And like I said, your streams are very important.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, thank you, man. And we are going to drop into something really cool right now, and that is Sim's Tales from the NATverse.
do it.
Yeah. So let's get into it.
Yeah, right now it's 70 backers. Got
70
another one
backer.
this morning.
Nice. Nice solid number.
Hey, is it still available?
Yep.
Hang on a second.
For another 26 days.
Hang on a second.
And right now, like, I updated the stretch goals. So when we reach 5K, I unlock the 3 first stickers of 6 a.m. When I reach the 10 one, I unlock the 3 girls stickers from 6 a.m. plus the crew print.
Nice.
At 15K, that's where it starts getting fun. 'Cause that's when I start adding the Simon Bisley print, the Joe Ball print, and the people that got the sexy print tier get 2 extra sexy prints in there.
Nice.
At 20K, then I open up the swimsuit special with the first guest artist in there, and then the more we make, the more I start hiring people like Vinny and other people to start doing pieces in there.
That's
So
awesome.
it's all gonna be like Tales from the NATverse, but let's just say that Vinny, right, when he gets to his piece, he's gonna do like the girls of the Tales from the NATverse, but he could put one of his in there. Could put like an Easter egg of his, like City of Venus in there. That's one of the things that I want to do. Like I want to give a theme to the piece, so it could be like like you have a little narration to it, and obviously the artists that are coming are welcome to put an Easter egg of their character, or even
Yeah, that's that's a good thing, man, for sure.
Yeah,
think
I
it's,
like that, dude. I'd like the fact that you've got the stretch goal for the swimsuit special ash can, but then it's as you keep going up, you're gonna give more people opportunity to be a part of it, and it's gonna grow the value for the customer.
And if we don't make it on this campaign, that thing's coming back on Tales from the NATverse too. That I'm already starting working on. Want to see the cover for one of the covers for
Oh,
Tales from
yeah.
the NATverse too? I'm not done
Yeah.
yet, but here's
Yeah.
a little boom.
I became backer 82 of NATverse, so
Awesome, thank you,
I'm
El.
gonna survive the apocalypse now.
See,
Nice.
that's gonna be
That's
the
all
right.
one of the covers for Tales from the NATverse too.
And this is a new character, right? The guy in the back,
Yeah.
the Beast.
So
Awesome.
you're gonna get
Cool.
this is this issue is gonna be more centered on Luani, right? And
Mhm.
you're gonna get to meet that guy here.
Yeah.
Very
That
cool.
I know
nice
it's
that
going on.
nice lovable guy.
Very cool, man. Yeah, that's looking good.
And as you can see, Elrica is not gonna be in that one because she's not there.
All right.
I like that he's got like the plasma like guns from Halo. Those guns would fuck a motherfucker up.
Those
Yeah.
I would. The idea for them is like I'm like, dude, I'm designing a guy and I want him to be like a big like army type brawler, you know? And I'm like, come on, his gun, he needs to be able to punch with those guns, right?
Nice.
I
Yeah.
used to have brass knuckles that were tasers.
Yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
shit.
So that's the idea. Imagine like he has brass knuckles, but he can shoot with them.
That's badass.
That would hurt.
That is badass. So what's the like for those who don't know, what's the basic what's the idea here? What's the core concept?
The idea is it's simple. Tales from the NATverse is an anthology series that goes along with Not the Merc. And I'm starting with Tales from the NATverse because the entire Not the Merc project started by a plan of having multiple short stories that was going to come out in an anthology series that was a bit like heavy metal here in Quebec, right? And by that, I was offering like different short stories, introducing different characters, bringing back Nat once in a while, and without nobody knowing, but the editor knew what I was doing. I was building a universe, meaning all the stories has a link with Nat, has a link with one of the characters. Get it? So you by the end, you're like, dude, did he just freaking like create a universe right there? And that was how it started, right? And it got
Nice.
interrupted because he got hit by the feminists and stuff like that, and he turned full SJW. Like he even did a full woman edition, and he went bankrupt.
Well, of
So
course.
this is what I'm doing is I'm like I decided I wanted to come into CG doing that, but it's a big project, right? So that's why I started with Blood Hunt. Because
Smart, dude.
Blood Hunt is like a movie to me, right? I know I have 2 sequels planned, but if you've read Blood Hunt, you get what I mean. It's like I just gave you a movie, and now you hope there's a sequel.
Mhm.
Well, Not the Merc, it's more like an ongoing series. And
Yeah.
Tales from the NATverse is something that goes along with it. So Not the Merc will concentrate on that, right? And Tales from the NATverse is my experiment to introduce you characters, building building those characters with you, and building an entire universe. So when I actually start telling you the big story I have with Nat, you're aware of everything that's around him.
That's nice, man.
So
So
I thought it was kind
instead
of a way
trying
of
to-
giving you the gaming experience with a comic. You know, like I will
love
build
it.
this shit. So when you get into it, you're like, okay, I'm in the world, and let's get Nat, right?
I like it, dude. So it's like rather than trying to just have this one Nat focused book, you're giving and trying to cram like these backstories and give enough time and pages to these other characters. You're like giving them much
You make
more
a good
room to
point.
breathe, so when you really get to the core story you're trying to tell, people know these characters. It's
Like,
gonna
yeah,
it's gonna make so much more impact.
It's a good point. Like backstories, it's like I could have just started with Nat the Merc and go like, oh, by the way, back then, oh, by the way, that was that one.
Right.
But I decided to do it the other way around, introduce you everybody, then tell you the story. So when Rose comes in, you're like, I know she is, and then you
That's
see
sweet, man.
Luani
I
in the
like
background.
it.
You're like, hey, oh,
Yeah, I
And
think
then you
before
never
the-
know- you never-
before
you-
this, I kind of understood. You know, in a broad sense, I understood what
Mhm.
you're doing, but now I really get it. Like, I get the power of how you're
And the
approaching this.
and the fun part is you don't know if one's gonna be a bad guy or not,
Right.
because I'm gonna keep this going.
Right.
Because I'm introducing you friends and foes. You don't know what it's like. It's hey, I'm gonna tell you the story of how the Federation start. Who's the hero of the Federation? That's what the NATverse is all about.
Very cool, dude.
You know, it's like instead of just leaving you an editor's note, you're gonna have an editor's note in Nat Demer going check Tales to NATverse, and you're gonna have the full story there. Like another thing, like just to show you an example, most of the stories right now in Tales from the NATverse, one happened before the event of Nat the Mercs, the series, right? But Royal Rumble, just to show you what I'm doing here, Royal Rumble actually happens during the book.
Okay.
So the event that's happening during Royal Rumble is happening during the series of Nat the Merc. So in Nat the Merc, there's a point where he's gonna go see. I need to go see Ulrika.
Oh,
And
I see. I
and he
got you.
walks in at the end of Royal Rumble.
Right. Got it. That's cool, man. No, and I mean, it really, obviously, you must be, you must have some crazy, like, I don't know how you're keeping it all organized, like crazy note. Like, how are you doing this?
I have a whole bunch of notebooks and papers and shit on my bed that I go to bed and I'm writing and I'm keeping this and I'm rewriting and I'm ripping this and I'm.
That's great, man. So I mean,
Like,
you have to know going in how all of these characters and storylines are going to come together and interact with each other.
Like, it's not much of a spoiler, but look in Royal Rumble, if you're gonna have to pay attention though, you're gonna see that in the intro, you're gonna see Nat's new ship around the planet. And if you look if you're gonna go if you look in the stadium in the back, like in the seats, you're gonna see Nat sitting there. But that's it.
Right on.
But that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in the book, he's gonna be like waiting. Is that over yet? Oh, that's different. Type of thing, and yeah, trying to play with those point of views at the same time. Yeah.
This is to me, it's
a big experiment.
It's the right way to do it because
I'm really having fun.
For me, like part of the reason Disney Star Wars failed so hard is that they did the exact opposite of what you're doing here. They went off something's popularity after the fact and said, okay, let's concoct all these weird backstories for these characters that people already know. And it completely does not work. It just doesn't have any impact. So I think the way that you're doing it, building up to the big core storyline with Nat, man, it's such a better approach.
Dig it. It's something that, come on. When the guy approached me to be in Zidara, because that was the name of the magazine, I'm like, what can I do that's different in short stories? Because everybody, like, even in Heavy Metal magazine, if it wasn't like a piece from an already published book or a book that was coming out from a bigger book, it was just a short story that was never gonna lead nowhere, right? And I'm like, you're just throwing a character out like that, right? Yeah. Here, I'm gonna create something and just throw it out like that. I'm like, how can I make it work, right? And everybody was asking me like, is Wolf Dragon and Nat gonna be in the same verse? You need to create a sim verse. And I'm like, yeah, but Nat and Wolf Dragon don't really mix it, right? And then my mind started working. I'm like, hold on a second. What if all the freaking characters? So that's why, when my mom with cancer that I went to win Rose, that was a concept art that was for cancer fundraising for breast cancer.
Oh, right. I remember that. Right? Yeah.
And all those type of things. And I went like, hold on. What if I did all those short stories with characters, but in a wink and like in one goes, Rose lets you know that she knows Nat. And that's it. Like, but you have Rose's story. Same thing in, like there's a wink to like somebody will say like Nat's name or may allusion to him or maybe even Bob or Zed or something. Just a little something in that short story that's self-contained that you go, huh. Through the time you go, did he just fucking tell me a story here?
Right.
Did he just fucking pull like a universe under me right there? Yeah, I did.
Nice.
Welcome to Nat the Merc.
Very cool, dude. And what's the best way? What would you say is the best way for people to jump on this project?
Right now, I think if you don't know me and you're just discovering me right now, there's the $55 there. The where you get the Tales from the NATverse and you get Blood Hunt and you get the sexy print that was just coming with the variant cover in the first campaign. I have like 100 left, so they're coming
Nice,
with
dude.
it.
So people have an opportunity here to get Blood Hunt if they miss it.
Yep, with tales from the NATverse. And the second one that would be cool is if you want to grab 2 copies, one for you or 2 for you, or one for you and one for a friend, stuff like that. And you like the sexy print idea too, so you get the 69 one, and you get the $90. What would usually cost you $90 to get to for $69. You get 2 books, you get 2 sexy print tiers. So technically, the 2 sets.
Yeah.
And when we reach the 15, that's 4 drawings, prints. And you get that shipped to you in the States for $15.
Oh, nice, dude. That's really cool. Now, are you able to do that? I know you've been experimenting, and
for the UK and Australia, I was able to bring it down $5 from the Blood Hunt campaign. So right now it should be at $20 for 1 book, not the 2 one, because that's when it goes over the 500 grams.
Right. I'm so impressed.
But I did try to not charge too much. Well, for the UK and Australia, especially for 2 books, I kind of took a $5 hit too, in a way.
Well, I really like, that you care about that so much, and you've put in a lot of effort to try and save people money, to try and figure out a way to reduce that cost, because it's tough.
I'm affected by it on both sides, dude. I'm a backer. I'm not just a creator trying to sell you my book. I'm also a backer. I backed, I think, 54 or something, 55 campaigns or something, and I have to pay $25 shipping every goddamn time, almost. And 20, and some people are charging me less, but that's in US or in other money, and I'm always paying double the goddamn book.
Yeah, dude.
And I've been trying to help people find new tricks. That's why I'm like, you just need to register yourself a company number, and you can have a company account with the post, and that can reduce your pricing a bit. And stuff like that I've been through, like opening an account with the bulk shipment with Beacon. Me and Beacon partnered up, so we're helping each other up for shipment. So I'm doing his UK shipment, like if you were in the first orders of 7 Legions, I'm the one that sent you your pack if you're in the UK. Right?
I love that, and it worked really well. I mean, I got my copy of Blood Hunt really efficiently, and
within 2 to 3 weeks, everybody got their books around the world almost. And instead of me, I'm waiting 2 months and a half for every book I order.
Yeah.
I just got my 6-gun gorilla right now.
Oh damn! Yeah. Well, enjoy that. That's a great book.
Yeah,
he sent me that book before he sent me that freaking package of he sent me a little statue of the Death Dealer.
Oh right.
A little pewter like metal cast one. I had that before, dude. It took like a week or 2. That took like 2 weeks. Boom. And the other one took 2 months and a half.
Wow.
That's a mess, dude. But yeah, I just appreciate, and I think you do this across the board. You're always trying to find ways to reduce cost to the customer, and add value, man.
And if you're on my Discord, go into the CG area. There's how did I call it? Hold on. Creator. I think it's creator resource. I called it. And I've put all that I found, and all my friends, what they all found about printing, fulfillment, about mailers, where to print the trading cards, your prints. We had the Mix'em link there ever since freaking Vinny found them.
Yeah.
We put all the info, like everything that we all get, that I all get. I try to put it there. Sometimes I forget, and I try to get everybody to do it.
I don't have the Discord link handy. Can you grab that and drop it in the chat for people?
Oh, it's on my bio. If you go in my bio, my Discord link is right there. You go in the CG area, but I put the info there, and technically all the promoters, Vinny's link is in there. You have the YouTube links, you have the Twitter links. I try to keep kind of give all the info that we've gathered for a quick access to everybody that can come in, because we've all been at this for like over 2 years, almost 3 right now, And it can be pretty painful for somebody to go over all our streams to get all the information that we've been
Impossible.
sharing.
It's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
impossible. So yeah, that's a really valuable resource. I dropped that link in the chat, and it's also in Sim's bio on Twitter. Yeah, I highly recommend people check that out, become a part of that, because it's not, yeah, a huge resource of great information, but also, support, encouragement, hanging out, just having a good time. Like it's a valuable thing.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. All right.
And a lot of people seem to be liking the head sketch there.
Yeah, dude, this is cool. So tell us a bit about this tier.
Well, the head sketch, you get to choose the character you want as a head sketch, and it doesn't have to
Oh,
be a Tales
okay.
from the NATverse. Like on the sketch cover, I get the restraint is it has to be from the NATverse.
Okay,
You can say like I want the star of my cover to be Rose, or
got
Nat,
it.
or Luani, right? But the head sketch could be Cyberfrog. Don't care.
That is unique. I don't know that any other campaign is given that kind of freedom
Mm-hmm.
with the
The head sketch is
sketches.
pretty much you choose what you want. Like, I'll drop Arios if you want.
Nice. All right, that's cool, man. All right. Original pencil pages.
Mm-hmm. Those were done in 2013. Those are the last fully pencil pages I did. I still have them all, and I
Wow.
decided to let them go. Yeah, I've been holding on to them. It's like that was the story where I was showing a part of the origin of Nat, and that's where you find out that part of his DNA comes from Earth.
Okay. Dang, dude, that's cool. So this is, I mean, you are
And his
fully
first,
digital at this point, right?
nah. I sometimes yeah, like I do many pieces fully digital, but I do like sometimes to doodle the idea, like the skill a quick sketch, sometimes the flow, sometimes on paper.
Okay. Yeah.
But then I don't scan it and put it back into digital. I just redraw it.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. So this is kind of some of the last physical artwork, like pages you produced. Dang.
Yeah, it's fully penciled and it was printed as such. So it's the only story in the book that's still gonna stay as such. I'm not getting it colored. There was a reason why it was printed like that, because it's a past thing, and I thought that instead of putting its time a timestamp, because you want to keep it a bit like timeless, right? I'm like,
Right.
what better way instead of just that to do it? I just left it in pencil. Like I'll do that one just in pencil and print it in pencil. So because the book was printed in black and white, so I'm like, how can I make the difference? Like sometimes people would put change the color, put
Right.
a sepia tone or something like that to give you the idea automatically that it's in the past. Me, I just went, I'll do it in sketch, like in pencil, like before it was inked, type of thing, and it worked. I'm leaving it as such.
Nice,
Like,
dude. And here's the Royal Rumble you're talking about. This is going to be a fun one.
yeah, that one's gonna be is being colored by Beacon as we speak right now.
All right. Nice.
Yeah, I should be getting like some colors coming in soon, like especially the cover. And that one's been done since like that's one of those that I had done before. That was done in 2016 that I lost and I had to redo in 2018. So that's the story I was doing during my first campaign of Blood Hunt.
Okay. Yeah.
So
nice,
I haven't,
man.
and
Well,
that's what I've been doing. And Nad and Zed's what I've been doing since with the second campaign.
very cool.
I've been keeping busy. And
It's
then
neat.
Nat and Zed,
It's cool to see the progression too. You know.
but that's
Just
one of the
you as an
things.
artist, like watching this progression of when this all got started,
I was
and
tempted to reach.
seeing you just kind of evolve and get
I
better
was
and better.
I was tempted to redraw the first ones, to be honest, right?
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
Because I was like, let's bring it, like, let's do a remake for everybody, right? Type of thing. But everybody told me, no, no, no. We want to see the old one. We want to see your old stuff. We want to see you evolve from one to the other. And that's what I kind of digged about it. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. So I try to put it gradually. Like if you're gonna when you're gonna read the Nat and Zed one, the three first stories were already all like penciled and drawn like before, right? But I redid them entirely, right? So, but I tried to keep the same style, if that makes sense. I
No,
just
I get it.
re-inked,
Yeah.
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 So I reworked them, try to keep the same style, and then when you get to the part 2 of Nat Zed, the style upgraded a bit,
Right.
and then so on and so forth. Trying to do that transgression, like
Yeah, it's really neat to see it, man.
like a
And
progression.
what's the total page count on this?
The total? I think I'm at 70 page. The book's gonna be like 70 page. I think it's gonna be like about like Blood Hunt.
Nice, dude.
And I say 64 plus pages because there's 64 pages of story.
Right.
Maybe even more because I'm thinking of putting the first pages of the Luani story that's gonna be in Tales from the NATverse 2. And I'm debating if I'm gonna put the little preview of Nat the Merc in that one or in number 2. I'm thinking of waiting for number 2,
Nice.
but there's gonna be about 72 pages of stuff because I also want to put some other sketches and concept art.
Right on. Now, this is man, I can't remember when did you launch the campaign, like, officially?
A month and 4 days ago.
Yeah. So you're on your second 30 days.
Yep.
And yeah. Dude.
I think
I
it was
don't-
the 27th of September. I think I launched. Was it?
Yeah.
No, August.
And what's
Yeah,
your
27th of August was when I launched.
what's your
the Thursday.
target date for fulfillment? I mean, I'm hoping you're going to give yourself some time in demand.
No.
No, you're not doing that. Okay.
I'm gonna go in demand probably like a month or two, maybe
Okay.
more. Like I might stay a bit in demand depending on how it goes because I get extra fees because I'm international, right?
Oh, right.
Yeah. So
And isn't it? How does that work with in demand? Isn't it if it doesn't really? If you're only selling like a couple a month, it doesn't really work in your favor, does it?
No, let's just say if like just for the hell of it, okay, one book. Let's say you pay one book $25, $15 shipping, right? That comes up to $30-$40,
Yeah.
right? So they take their 10% plus they take $25 just to transfer me that amount.
Right.
So
it's
if
the
I sell just
transfer, the
one
fund-
book or
got
two
it.
in a month, yeah. So it's
Got
kind of
it.
like every time they transfer me like money, I give one book away.
Got it. Ouch. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Cool, man. Is there anything
that's
else
what-
you want?
that's-
Wait. Was there something Is there something you had on tap you wanted to show?
Okay.
Or was
you
that
want me-
the cover for number 2?
I showed the cover for number 2,
Yes, you did.
and here's the Joe Ball piece. I don't know if you've seen that
Oh.
one.
Oh yeah.
I did share it, but boom, that's the Joe Ball piece. He went full mixed media. There's no
Oh,
lines,
nice.
dude. It's like the
Yeah.
reverse Joe Ball.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a cool piece.
He went
Right
full
on,
like
dude.
traditional media, and then he went over and so I'm waiting for the original of this. That's gonna be cool, and that's gonna be like a print, the same size that you got on Blood Hunt, but full colored.
All right, dude. Yeah,
Sweet.
that's sick. Nice work, Joe.
And this is gonna be the Bisley one.
Yeah.
So
That's
right now
really
that's
fun.
11 by 17, and I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna scan it properly and get it printed.
Very cool.
All in.
I
ink
love
wash.
how Bisley's popping up in CG quite a few places. It's really cool.
I've had this since 2015, dude.
Right.
I've been keeping that like sleeping on it till I was ready to launch Nat the Merc. And people were like, dude, don't you have I think it was Vinny, I think.
Yeah,
Was one
I
of
was
them
like,
was
I
like,
said,
dude, don't you have
why-
a fucking Bisley piece? Yeah. Why the fuck isn't it out? But I'm sleeping on it because it's for the next campaign of Nat the Merc. You're a fucking idiot. Like, yeah.
That's funny, man.
Put
No,
that out there. Done.
I think, yeah, I think you made a wise choice on that. Very cool.
Like me, I'm just sleeping on it because I'm like, dude, I invested it and I told Bisley that it was for the campaign on Not the Merc. So I'm like, I'll keep it for the Not the Merc.
Yeah. I was like,
Good
"Oh,
point.
wake up already!"
I'm like, yeah, good point.
Well, let's hit this. Do the scary thing. Hit the refresh. See if we pick something up.
Yay, one backer.
There we go.
Thanks, El.
No
Nice,
problem.
nice. Is
Awesome.
that Gargoyle? Is that are
Yeah.
you responsible?
I'm backer number 86.
Nice. Very cool, man. I just this is a great project. I love your approach on it. I love that you're starting with these characters. You're gonna let us get to know them. You're gonna build it into this core main book. I think it's a really cool approach.
I don't know if you guys are gonna think that it's as fun. The idea is as fun as I did, but when people told me not to change them, because when I was thinking of like reworking them, I was like, I could update it, right? I could change a few things, right? But the idea of having to do the commandy challenge type of thing, going, I'm taking it as is, and
Right.
let's keep going. Like, okay, what are my restrictions? What did I put myself into? And
Yeah.
how can I build up and make it work? and dude, it's really, really, really invigorating, and it's really stimulating, and like people, most people that are seeing what I'm working on with the Tales from the NATverse and Not the Murder go, dude, it shows that you're having fun with that one more than the Blood Hunt or something. There's something different in that one. I go, yeah, yeah. It's kind of I'm
Right.
back with playing with my best, like my best and one of my best and favorite goddamn toys.
Right. You have such a history with it. It's like it's gonna
Mhm.
be with you for the rest of your days. It's just that it's that thing for you. Yeah, it definitely shows. Yeah, Chris, I will back this one of these days.
Yeah, they're not letting him.
Oh, right.
The credit card,
Damn.
the bank thing. He's having
That
trouble
sucks.
backing anything that's not U.S. right now.
Oh wow.
Damn. Is that an Indiegogo problem
Oh,
or
by the
like
way,
a
I
PayPal
had a
thing?
problem with that with the potato titties because of my bank account.
Oh, by the way, Chris,
Okay.
hit me up if you're not able to back. If you're not able to back Ross, because I know he was having an issue last time. Let me know, because I backed him yesterday. I'll grab a second copy for you. Just hit me up.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
had an issue with-
unfortunate.
Yeah, I had an issue with somebody's project. I forgot who it was. I had to back it 4 times for it to finally go in.
Yeah, I had a couple of people do that. Yeah.
That's
Wow.
why we have all those ghost backers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes
That's where all
or it
those-
skips a number. Yeah.
Yeah, the numbers don't make sense. Yeah.
Like backer 86. How come you had 71 backer? I know, right?
Yeah, I learned that on my first campaign as well.
And so he's
I was
like, oh,
what's going on?
Somebody's like, oh, it's probably the refunds. No, they still count them. They keep the count on the refunds.
right.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck they do and how they do that, but yeah, my first campaign I didn't have any refunds, but I kept having like those missing numbers as well. I was like, okay, so now I can't fulfill the way that I wanted to because I was like making a chart of how I was going to do it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to now pivot to a different way.
I mean, that's why when I end at the end of the Blood Hunt campaign, like for almost a month, in every goddamn show that I was going to, I was telling people, please, everyone, go back to your backing and make sure that it went through, because you might have gotten a message and got a backer's number, and I don't want you to be waiting for a book and it'll never be coming.
That's what that feels like.
You got to do that one more time.
Because it happened to me too, dude. I thought I backed a goddamn project. I had the email saying that I was backer number so, and then you
Yeah.
go back to your thing and you're like, where the fuck is it?
Yep. Yeah, dude, that sucks. I don't know that I've had a problem yet, but it's unfortunate that they haven't ironed that out yet. Damn.
But dude, it's like another thing that's funny is that you people don't think about. Don't keep in mind they also take that 10% they take, like 8 to 10% they take, that ends up to being 10% and all. They also take it off your shipping. Like everything's calculated in right, the money and the shipping. 10% they take it off your money, the book, and they take it off the shipping as well. Keep that in mind, because that's another thing that a lot of people don't realize.
It's the total. It's the total amount. It's 5% plus 2.9% on purchases, and then they keep 5% back. I think as well. Yeah.
And then there's the transfer charge, and then you have the in-demand charge, and then you have So it goes up to being 10%.
You know, these are huge things. Like you know, if you're really trying to cut it right down to the wire with what you're charging people on shipping and things, it is something you know you got to be aware of, that you got to factor this stuff in.
You must build it in. Yeah.
It doesn't do anyone any good when you're a creator and you structure something in a way that that isn't sustainable. That's not going to help anybody. So yeah, just factor it in. People understand it costs money to ship. These things cost money.
Yeah.
We understand it. We don't love it, but we understand it, and we're down. You know, we're down to support, and don't cut yourself short on that stuff.
No.
I used to think you might as well sometimes just have a different fulfillment department in that location that the shipping is expensive at.
Yes, and that's kind of what Sim's experimenting with. He already did that with Blood Hunt in a way.
Yep. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Like I shipped to Beacon. Beacon did my remailing in the States, and I did it for him here for the UK, Australia, and a few other international that were cheaper for me.
Yeah.
So
I mean, people have to understand. You still had to pay to ship a large number of books to Beacon.
So that's why we call it an experiment, because we calculated that, okay, let's say it cost me that much to send the box of that many, so it becomes that much per order, plus the shipping over there, how much can I charge? So that's why we ended up like being able to. We know that between the US and Canada, we can ship pretty much anything at $15, like a book or two.
Right.
Like for $15, because it's one shipping here, one shipping over there, and we're pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Well, this was fun, man. I'm really glad. I think I have a much better understanding of how this Tales from the NATverse is going to work. Yeah, dude. Congratulations. Obviously, you're well over funding. People snag this book, and I would highly recommend that you snag it if you miss Blood Hunt. Yeah, get this tier here, the $55, because Blood Hunt is such a fun read. There's a lot of unexpected stuff in there. So
I just want to say that don't worry, you also have the possibility to grab any tier and add a Blood Hunt at the add-on, because in the add-ons you have an extra copy of Tales from the NATverse, a copy of Blood Hunt, and you could put the sexy prints.
That is good. I'm really glad that you brought that up. Cool.
So the sexy prints are at $20, right, for the just the 2 prints, right? But keep in mind, when we reach 15K, it's 4 prints.
Right. Okay, that is really good to know. So choose any tier you want. If you miss Blood Hunt, just add it to your order, because it's such a fun ride, man. I love it.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
NATverse or Blood Hunt, or you get punched in the cunt.
You heard it here first.
And trust me, if you're a big fan, you miss heavy metal, you were a big fan of all the things dude. If you're a fan of manga, I like to compare. I'd say it's like a mix between Black Lagoon and Outlaw Star, right? Like you get the really dark and gritty side of being a mercenary, gun for hire type of thing, more than the campy. Like you get the dark and gritty side of it. If you're a fan of heavy metal, Lobo, all that type of sci-fi fantasy. Like I'm trying to bring you to a universe where I can do pretty much anything. There's rules, obviously, like but you're gonna have flying whales in space. You're gonna have like giant shark people. You're gonna have everything's gonna be in there. Like, you know, when they say, hey, to have the perfect ultimate geek project, you have to have dwarf, giants, robots, a toy that everybody wants, a perfect fucking car, babes, and midgets. You're good. If you got all of that in your fucking project, you're set. I got all of that in my fucking project and more.
Nice.
Hey
Nice,
Sim,
man.
will those whales have blue hair?
Nope.
Ooh, that's not a bad idea though. I like that. This show's running a bit long for the Midday Repartee. I will say that in the description below we have links to Only Death Can Save Us by Russ Leach. We've got links to Vinny Tartamella's Through the Woods as well as his YouTube channel. Be sure to check those out. Obviously, if you haven't backed Tales from the NATverse, get that done.
Do
And
it.
Snag a copy of Blood Hunt if you haven't. Gargoyle, anything that you'd like to shout out?
Oh, speaking of which, if you can't wait for Vikings, Giants, and all that shit on Amazon,
Runes of Agnon.
Runes of Regan.
There you go.
Yeah, dude. Al, did you see what I pulled on freaking Rot on the last show?
No.
I was fucking evil with him. Somebody asked him like, so how's it going writing on the writing going on that story with Inkspot? He's like, oh, blah blah blah. He starts saying, you know, how it's going. I'm like, oh yeah, and how's it going on the second project that you're working on? And he just starts looking at, he just like, you see his face going, you fucker. The sequel of Root of Ragnon. I'm waiting on it.
Yeah,
I signed up for it.
It wasn't really something coming into wanting to do this, be a part of CG. It wasn't something I really was thinking about, but I've gotten so much feedback on it, and people really, really dig it. So that probably is on the horizon somewhere. We'll bring back that
Dude,
book for sure.
I read the first pages, and I'm like, I sent him a message, dude. I read the back. I got into it. I started reading the first pages. Yeah, you need to bring that back, and I'm willing to sign up for it.
Nice.
He's like, seriously? Like, yeah.
That's really cool. I appreciate that. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. Russ, congrats again on getting funded.
Thank you.
Hell yeah.
Thanks to the chat for hanging out. Had a great time today. And man, we hit on some really good stuff in terms of building good creative habits. Very, very cool.
One thing I'd just like to say before we leave is, it's good to have those habits, but keep in mind that those habits are like a rabbit hole. So be wary that the main trick is to not fall into that rabbit hole of neglecting everything else. It's really easy to fall into it. Every day we deal with it. Like 1 week you're gonna end up going, fuck.
Right.
Yeah. If you need that moment to play a video game or do something that's gonna suck up time in your day, but you need it just to kind of relax, make it your reward.
Yeah.
And when you finish a page or two, or you know, set that little bit of time aside for it, and I think it's all right. You have your balance. You know, if it's gonna be something you're like, all right, fuck it, I don't feel like working today. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Then you're gonna fall into a trap. So
you know what they say. You know, all work and no play make.
Right.
It makes Vinny is what it makes.
But we have to remember that you got to work hard to play hard. So once in a while, don't forget you have to take a break and play hard, have fun, just chill out. Yeah.
Very good advice, man. I appreciate all the input from you guys and every one of you. Very productive, putting out great work for people. So what you have to say on that subject means a lot. And tomorrow, guys, big collaborative art making stream. I think we're going to have a great time tomorrow. We got Stephanie Renee is going to be with us. Hopefully, Vinny, if you can make it, be great to have you.
Yeah, man. I'm definitely going to try for tomorrow for sure.
Yeah.
Dude, it's really
who
cool.
knows what's
that
going to
new
come
program-
out of it. You just don't know. But
Really,
I
that new
have this
program is
weird
really cool.
feeling that it's going to be spectacular. I think it's really going to be something.
Cool.
It was really weird, right, Ross, to play with that program there. We can all draw on the same piece at the same time.
Yeah,
That's mad.
yeah.
Dude, yeah, I am interested to see how this works.
It's freaking weird. It's like imagine you're working on Photoshop, but we all have access to a layer, and we can draw over you if we want.
Amazingly,
wow.
no penises. Like
Yeah.
no penises.
Oh, that's
All
the
right.
rule. No penises. Okay.
Yep.
Well, we'll
Well,
see
it
you guys
wasn't a
tomorrow.
rule. It just didn't happen. And maybe
L is just the only one breaking it, though.